Yibunei HaMikdash, Hirtzio in the Malai, O Korles Ozman.
Shalom and blessings, welcome to our channel. Every Friday, Rabbi Kolakowski, affectionately known as the Koblenzer Rebbe, shares a teaching from his holy ancestor, the legendary Maharal of Prague. This week, for Parshas Chayei Surah, the Maharal discusses how Genesis chapter 23 teaches us about how Sarah was perfect in both body and soul. Let's watch.
Bruchim Aboyim, welcome everyone. Every Friday, we try to learn a little bit from my holy ancestor, the Maharal of Prague, This week's Parshas Chayei Surah. Parshas Chayei Surah begins with Genesis 23, verse 1. V'yu Chayei Surah mea shana, asim shana v'sheva shanim, shnei Chayei Surah. And it was that the life of Sarah was 100 years, and 20 years, and 7 years, the years of the life of Sarah. Rashi says, Kach nichtav shana b'chol klal v'klal. Why? The reason why the word year is written by each numerical decimal point area, decimal, that you could make a homiletic interpretation of each part of the number 127. Instead of saying 127, to say 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. So what's the homiletic understanding? Bas kuf kabas chaf lechet. At 100 years old, she was like a 20-year-old in regards to sin. Ma bas chaf lechata shareni bas anashin. Because someone who's 20 years old is not considered sinful because you do not receive punishment for sin before the year 20. Af bas kuf b'lechet uvas. So too at 100 years old, she was without sin. Bas chaf kabas zayin liyofi. And at 20, she was like a 7-year-old in beauty. Now this seems counterintuitive. Actually, the Ramchal learns it differently. The Ramchal says that at 100, she was like a 20-year-old in beauty, and at 20, she was like a 7-year-old without sin. And yet Rashi says it this way, and this is actually how we find it in the Medrash, in Parshas Rabbi. So the Heilige Zayda Maharal explains it in a deeper way. So what does it mean, Bas Esem Kavash Sheva Liyofi? He asks a more fundamental question. When we say, Rashi says, based on the Medrash, that at 20 she was like 7 to beauty. Why would, you might ask, why would Scripture even mention her beauty? Like Siv Shakra Achein Vavalayofi. We know in Eishes Chayil, Proverbs 31 verse 30, it says that grace is vain, and grace is false, and beauty is vain. So So again, we're talking specifically speaking at 7 years old. The Scripture here isn't talking about beauty in the way that we understand in the modern way. A human being has two parts of his being, guf and nefesh. There's the physical body and the spiritual soul. Scripture is telling us that Sarah was perfected in both body and soul in these two portions. And she had nothing lacking. She was perfected both in her body and in her soul. And she had perfection in both of these two portions of her life. And she had nothing lacking. So what do we refer to with the perfection of her body? That at 20 she had the beauty of a 7-year-old. What does it mean? This was an unnatural type of beauty, meaning that we're talking about that she was so innocent. The beauty was not sensualized in any way, but rather a very innocent beauty. Lefia minig yora ala guf shunaki vubar mikol lisig. That according to the way the world is, we're talking about a body that was so pure and clean and shining without any blemish. Similarly, by Moses, in the end of Deuteronomy 34, verse 7, it says that Moses, on the last day of his life, he was 120 years old, a little younger than Sarah, that his eyesight did not dim and he did not lose his moisture of life. This is also talking about that he had a very shining, bright body that wasn't thought of in a carnal way, but rather in a very pure and holy way. And similarly, when it's saying that 100, she was like 20, that is talking about how lofty her soul was, that she had total perfection in a very pure, holy, and innocent manner. That was the way of Sarah. And so it's not difficult to understand this if we have a clean mind and a clean thoughts about our holy ancestors, our holy patriarchs, to understand the real greater way, because we would think it's the opposite, but actually there's much deeper thoughts here. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. We'll see you later.
We hope you enjoyed this content. This channel has over 5,000 videos, including Torah commentary, podcasts, footage of Jewish and historical events, and much more. We are sure you will find more videos you will enjoy. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment. Rabbi Kolakowski often makes videos based on questions in the comment section, so you might have a video made just for you. By helping this channel grow, you are helping to spread Torah. God bless.
Yibnei HaMikdash, Hirtzia ente malai, Okar les ozman. Yibnei HaMikdash, Hirtzia ente malai,